Who were you before the programming? Before the trauma, the bullies, and the bad bosses? Who are you at your essence? And who did you come here to be? Hi, I'm Amanda Baudier.
And I'm Emilia Salas.
And this is Becoming, the podcast.
Each episode, we dive into raw stories of healing and share grounded tools for personal transformation so you can become more fully, wholeheartedly you.
And by tuning in, your becoming journey is already in motion. Welcome back to the Becoming podcast. Amanda and Emilia here. And today we are going to talk about fear. And fear is often an unwelcome guest in many of the sessions that I do one-on-one, whether I'm doing coaching or somatic work. And we are going to talk about today why fear is actually sacred. That's a big leap. I think it was a big leap for me. And I think it's going to be a big leap for a lot of you. So we're going to ease into it because I know for a lot of people, it's like, no, fear is the worst thing. It's what's holding me back. So, I sit here today in a very different place than I was just a few years ago. I was an employee until I was 37 years old. I'm 41. I was at my first job for 14 years, my first company for 14 years. And I can say that fear was such a powerful force in my life for pretty much all of my life. Fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of judgment. I mean, I could go on and on. Fear is a multifaceted energetic force that has roots in our earliest traumas, has roots in generational traumas, has roots in societal programming. And so fear is not a topic that we decide to talk about lightly, but it is a topic that we talk about with so much reverence because in order for us to become, right, and continually become the most fully expanded version of ourselves, we're always dancing with fear.
All the time.
All the time.
And in this process and, throughout kind of your journey and your career, how did you start to learn what's fear versus what's my instincts looking out for me and keeping me safe?
Yeah. I mean, I will start by saying that for me, I didn't look at my fear at all for most of this time. And I actually, because I work with people one-on-one, I know this is true for many people. We dissociate from our fear.
Yeah.
We make a choice that feels good enough, and then we pursue that choice. And by doing something that is good enough, right? Like I had cool jobs.
Yeah.
At some points in time, like people were like, oh, wow, you do that? That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it was cool-ish, but it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
I was terrified to do what I wanted to do. So I chose something good enough so that I could actually like not face my fear at all. When I started to actually face my fears, it was really easy for me to almost see how silly and selfish they were. In some ways, our fear of failure, judgment, looking stupid, right? It sets us apart from everyone else in the world because nobody can put themselves out there without a risk of failure. Nobody can put themselves out there without being judged, right? So your fear is almost like of an inevitability, right? And of course, there are other fears that are different, that are maybe rooted in real traumas or past experiences, right? Like I'm not downplaying that, right?
Yeah.
But when we are listening to the voice of our intuition, there is movement to it. Like our intuition is very invitational. Hey, I want you to look at this closer. Hey, I want you to look at this closer. I want you to examine this. I want you to be thoughtful about this. Whereas a fear, it's like a wall.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, nope.
It's a lot louder. It's a lot more in charge.
Yeah. And if you were, and I say this a lot, but I prescribe a lot of questions. Because if you interrogate a fear over and over again, what does this mean? What are you really saying? What are you really protecting me from? What am I really afraid of? What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst case scenario? Usually you get to something that's so stupid. And I've done this with my own therapists and teachers, right? Like, I'm afraid that people are going to make mean comments on Instagram, right? Like at the end of the day, I mean, it feels horrible and daunting. But at the end of the day, those fears generally have some sort of nonsense at their root cause, whereas an intuition is usually more of a yellow light. Like there's a warning signal that sometimes means don't do it. But more often than not, it just means proceed with mindfulness, proceed with thoughtfulness. And the other thing is like when we move through a fear or when we make a wrong choice, we're still learning along the way. Yeah. And the more that you dance with fear, the more that you start to realize that.
Well, and that you realize, as you said earlier, it is an inevitable part of this process. And I think for me, that's where, somatic tools and modalities have been so powerful because it's taught me how to recognize and be so much more attuned to the difference in the way that my emotions show up for me specifically. I mean, I'm even thinking a few seconds ago when I said, it's louder, it's more in charge. Well, that's from personal experience. And learning that about myself really has helped me to just recognize, oh, this is intuition. Oh, actually, this is fear.
Yeah.
And then to sit with that and to say, what a powerful moment for me to reframe and to recognize that actually my emotions are messengers and they're here to teach me different things and to ask me different questions. Yeah. And now when I recognize fear, I know deeply, oh, this is actually a powerful moment for me to sit with a belief that no longer aligns with the narrative of my core self. Yeah. So how can I challenge this? How can I work with this? How can I work through it and use the fear and the energy that I'm getting from this fear to harness it, reframe it, and then expel it out in a way that is aligned with myself.
Yeah. And I want to say this. I don't want to assume this is true for you, but as you were speaking, I want everyone listening to understand that this isn't like something that just happens and then you're good, right? Yeah. Like there are moments where a fear will come in that is, I'm like, you again?
Yeah.
I'm 41 years old. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, I don't need to hear. So this process that she's referring to, this reframe, it's not something that precludes the terror, right? Like day 27 of my cycle, like I'm going to be irrational about something and I'm going to have to use a process like this to talk myself off the ledge.
Oh, yeah.
And then day 6, I'm like, I'm fearless, like, so she shares this. And I just want to reiterate that if you have to do that every day for the rest of your life, it will be worth it.
Yeah.
I don't really think that anyone, well, we'll get to this later, but very few people that care, people with integrity, we don't really get to a point where it's like, fear has been neutralized. I'm good now. I'm evolved, you know?
No, and saying this, I can honestly say, what was it, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, I called you and was like, and all these things. So as someone who knows these things, knows the process, has sat with it, knows that my emotions are messengers, like knows how to recognize it, all of it. Again, I still have to live through it. Totally. And I still have to feel it and I still have to experience it. But it helps to, these reframes just remind me to not just jump ship and not just escape and not just run away and not just quit doing the thing because the fear is so loud and so debilitating.
Yeah. I want to touch on some somatic and spiritual tools for dealing with fear because in my one-on-one work, right, like the primary thing that I'm doing is helping people dance with fear to make their dreams come to life, right? In the many permutations of that. And it's important to understand that fear, it has many components, but at a base level, there's a physiological component and there is a mental or like intellectual narrative component. And you really want to deal with both. So working with your nervous system and understanding what your nervous system typically does or experiences when you're in fear is really key. So everyone's heard of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, right? We have different knee-jerk kind of react. Some people get really angry. Some people just disappear, right? You said jump ship, right? Which would be a flight response, right?
Yep.
I have done all of the above. I'm not much of a fighter, but I've definitely done all of the above. Definitely, like being in overwork, right, is a form of freeze because you're just locked in, right? Like they call it locked in because it's often a freeze state. So really understanding when I get into a fear state, what do I do? Do I dissociate with alcohol, drugs, TV scrolling? Do I pick fights with my partner or like create chaos? Do I ignore? Do I run away? Do I lose myself in other work or other people, right?
Mhm.
And the somatic work that you do is going to be in response to that. And so, of course, like as we mentioned in our membership, there is somatic meditation, there is
Mhm.
breath work. These are great, kind of like one size fits all tools. And what I mean by that is like a breathwork session thoughtfully applied can help you move through any of these states.
Yeah.
But I want you to get really curious. Like for me, a walk in nature,
Mm.
a cry,
Yeah.
like these are things that really support me when I'm feeling fear.
Yeah.
But you have to deal with the physiological piece and the narrative piece, which is
Yeah.
what I talked about before, the journaling, the like getting to the root of it.
Yeah.
Now, the spiritual piece of this is you mentioned inevitability.
Mhm.
I work with a lot of CEOs and founders that people look at and think, wow, they're so successful.
Mhm.
They must be X, they must be Y. No. Like if I had $1 for every time someone powerful came on the Zoom screen with me crying, I
Yeah.
could retire. I would not be
Yeah.
here. The spiritual piece is knowing that sometimes all you can do is leave your fear on the altar,
Yeah.
whether that's prayer, whether that's reminding yourself of your mission,
Mm.
why this is bigger than you,
Mm.
why you're going to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Mm.
And there is nothing holier than moving through a fear that on the other side of it lies something that honors you, that honors others,
Mm.
that makes the world a better place, that advances something forward, right? Like you could go through your whole life playing it safe.
Yeah.
Reach your deathbed and think, wow. I mean, I was on that track.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
crazy to think I could have stayed at that first company and I'd be successful. I'd be rich.
Yep. And by the way, playing it safe does not decrease suffering.
No.
Does not take the fear away.
No.
Like you are going to feel these things anyway.
Mhm.
You are going to experience these things anyway. The mentioning of, having these moments of vulnerability with your clients is to normalize this experience.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Yeah.
you're going to go through it anyway.
Mhm.
Why
Yeah.
not align it with a purpose and the values that are a reflection of your core self instead
Yeah.
of sitting with these experiences and these emotions in a world and in a life that is not even reflective of your own, of what you want for yourself.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'll often point out in regard to this is you do not have to jump off the cliff. You don't have to plunge into the cold water all at once.
Yeah.
In somatic experiencing, we talk about titrating, right? What does titrating mean? It means like if this is a pool of freezing cold water, I can dip in a toe.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't die.
Yeah.
Dip in a foot.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't die, right?
Yeah.
Like my moving towards like what I'm doing right now is the thing I was the most terrified of doing, to like take a stand. I'm a spiritual teacher. Who the fuck does she think she is, right?
Yeah.
Like that was my biggest fear. It took me many, many years of working with the trauma, working with the stories, working with the somatics, developing my intuition, developing my relationship to God, gathering the skills, doing it one-on-one in private, and getting lots and lots of positive reinforcement to be like, wait, okay, guess I'm ready now, right?
Yeah.
So I share that because I think I'm good at teaching this because it was actually hard for me. People that are born brave and fearless, whose parents told them that they could do anything, I don't think that they get it. I don't think that they could teach it in the way that we do because they have not laid in bed feeling terrified about something that rationally is not a big deal. Right? So I want to hear more about your fears.
I mean, what a like lead up because this is so applicable. And when I say this is so applicable, I mean quite literally me sitting in this chair
Today,
speaking into this microphone. And last night, down to last night, down to the minute that I arrived in this space and have been in this space, spiraling with the fears and sitting and moving through them and saying, we're going to do this. I mean, I have such a deeply rooted fear of being seen, of being perceived, of doing this work and coming across as holier than thou or self-important, or I am not really truly here for any of that. I believe that I am here to help others, that I am here to sit with their experiences and hold them and hug them in a way that says, I've been there, I see you, I even get emotional mentioning it because that is what I am here to do. And so, but we live in a society where podcasts are a thing and social media is a thing. And while it brings so much beauty and opportunity for vulnerability and sharing and connection, it is a very scary thing for me to do and to sit up here and to confront it in such a public way, because I just woke up really, truly and said, I just want to be the thing that no one ever was for me. And that's all that I'm trying to do here. And to reconcile that with these kinds of experiences, it's hard for me. It's very scary.
In listening to her speak, I'm hoping that the title of this episode, Fear is Sacred, is starting to make a little bit more sense. And now you're ready for my little woo-woo moment. So I had a vision while I was playing a shamanic drum track of me basically laying down, and I was engulfed by sort of like a half circle of darkness of fear, right? And it was really just pinning me to the ground and sort of forcing me to look this way. And as I started to turn my head slowly towards the left, the darkness got smaller and smaller and smaller until it was this like tiny little pie slice. And I looked over, and in that little space that the fear had condensed into, I'm getting emotional saying it. I feel chills in my body. It was all of the reverence that I feel for the people that I serve, the reverence that I feel for my own life, how grateful I am to be on the other side of all the other stuff, to be living in my purpose. And what I saw in that space of fear was such innocence, such care. If I wasn't afraid, it would mean I was flippant. It would mean that I was entitled, that I didn't hold sacred the words that I speak to people that could potentially alter the way that they decide to live their lives. To be fearless in the face of a big mission is to not take it seriously enough. And so when I think about my fear now, first of all, I'm at a place where me and God, like, we're anchored, right? And it took me a long time to get here, but we're anchored. But when those fears come up, I hold them so sacred because I know that they represent the truest, most earnest part of me that wants to do this work in the highest possible way that I can. And my fear is sacred to me. I don't take any of this lightly. What's the song? Nothing is promised, none of this promised, right? Like, I take this shit seriously. And I care
so deeply.
Like, I care about you. I care about you doing this. It's so important to me. And I fought tooth and nail to live a life of bravery. And I know that it's possible for everybody because of what I've experienced. This was not who I could have been if I had let my fear hold me back. And in closing, perhaps I want to say there's a lot of people in leadership roles in this world right now who seem to be quite fearless with what they spout. Seem to be quite fearless with the laws that they pass, with the words that they share to millions of people that are hurtful, that are ignorant, and that are flat out wrong. And they're doing so with bravery, with confidence, with their whole chest. That is the flip side. And that is the dark side of being fearless, of feeling so entitled to your worldview, your toxic worldview, being promoted and being out there. And it is important to me because I think oftentimes the people with the most fear have the most integrity. The people with the most fear are the ones that care the most. And I want to unleash people with big hearts. Right? If you got a big heart, you freaking care and you're scared, right? You care what people think of you. Not everybody, but a lot of people who don't care what people think of them are toxic. Right? And so what I want to bring through with this conversation is that if you are feeling scared, that is not indicative that something is wrong with you.
Right.
That is not a sign that you're not meant to do it or that you're not capable.
Right.
It means you need to work with your nervous system. You need to root into those feelings, those shakiness that are percolating in your system.
Yeah.
You need to get clear on your why, what's bigger than you, and walk as slowly as you need to.
Mhm.
Walk 1 inch at a time, but do not let fear hold you back from living the life that you came here to live.
Absolutely. And become audacious with your fear. That's
Yeah.
something that I'm practicing and trying and testing, and whatever shaking or whatever conversations or whatever moments help me get there. I'm doing it. I'm right now in this moment sitting with this fear, doing the hard thing. But I so agree with you. It
Yeah.
comes from such a place of reverence and wanting to do right by and the best for others around me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not doing that, then I got to pack it up and go home.
Yeah. And I didn't intend to quote Joseph Campbell again, but the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one thing that we're
Yeah.
doing with this entire becoming movement,
Yeah.
it is holding your hand and maybe shining a tiny little flashlight into the cave so that we can all go find the treasure that we were really incarnated to live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, and stay tuned for next time.
Yeah, if you like this episode, share it with somebody who might be, working through some
Working through
fear
the
in their
fear.
own life, because we want to be the voice in their head when that other voice is saying quit.
You are not alone in this.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Thank
See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Becoming the Podcast. If this episode hit home for you, please leave a review at Apple or Spotify and share us with a friend.
And if you're ready to dive deeper, head to www.becoming-collective.com and join our membership community. Use code BECOMINGPODCAST, all lowercase, for 20% off your first month.
We can't wait to welcome you into Becoming.